somehow, some way, there is more bad news that continues to roll in for the New York Football Giants as they get ready for their Week 18 game, I guess, against Saquon Barkley. We'll talk about that coming up in a second. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are almost at our goal of 62,500 subscribers. I need 89 die-hard New York Football Giants fans to smack that subscribe button, and you're going to lock yourself into free videos every day on Big Blue. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. Happy New Year, and thank God 2024 is over. That was a doomsday for the New York Football Giants, and it's also potentially going to be even a bigger doomsday on Sunday because, let's face it, the culture wins are not a real thing. And the New York Giants right now have a chance to win Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles because Saquon Barkley and pretty much every single starter for the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to play. They have nothing to play for, and they know that there is no need to win a meaningless football game, unlike the New York Football Giants. Saquon Barkley not going to play as he is 101 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's all-time rushing record for a single season. Why is this bad news for the New York Football Giants? Because they have a better chance to win the football game. And if the Giants win the game this Sunday, they could fall all the way down to the number 9 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. And if that happens and you still have the idea of wanting to go trade up for a quarterback, you're going to have to double the offer you already have to make to move up if you do end up in the 4th spot. The Eagles right now are just 2.5-point favorites against the New York Giants. Vegas knows, and they knew all week long it was 3.5 because they knew the Eagles weren't going to play their starters because the Eagles don't want the Giants to get a good draft pick, and they also have nothing to play for. They don't worry about meaningless culture wins. They worry about playoff wins and getting to the Super Bowl, something the Giants haven't done in a long, long time. But I guess this is good news for the 2025 culture, right? Everyone's telling me, Marshall, that win was big against the Indianapolis Colts. It's huge. It's going to pay huge dividends in the next season. That's what they told me last year when the Giants won 3 games with Tommy DeVito. That took them out of the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May sweepstakes. And that win that you just had against the Indianapolis Colts, it might have taken you out of striking distance of my guy Cam Ward and other top QB prospect Shedeur Sanders. Right now, the Giants sit at the number 4 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. There are 4 teams tied with a 3-13 record. The tiebreaker is whoever had the easiest strength of schedule, which you see on the far side. The New York Giants had the hardest schedule of all those teams. You also see that 9 teams have 4 wins or less. If the Giants win this game, there's a shot that they could fall to the number 9 pick. Shout out to my guy WBG84 on Twitter. The best Giants account there is. Give him a follow. Laid it out perfectly, the situation and what needs to happen and what can happen with the win or loss this Sunday. I just want to use these for reference. Giants number 1 pick clinching scenarios for Week 18. The Giants got to lose. Then the Patriots got to win. The Titans got to win. And the Cleveland Browns have to win. For the Giants to get the number 2 pick, they need to lose, and they need 2 of the 3, Patriots, Titans, or Cleveland, to win. For the Giants to own the strength of schedule tiebreaker over the Cleveland Browns, the following would have to occur. The Saints would have to beat the Tampa Bay Bucks. I don't think the Saints are beating the Bucks as they just lost to the Raiders. The Jags could beat Indy. The Dolphins actually have a really good shot to beat the Jets. Lions winning over Minnesota could definitely happen. And the Rams can definitely beat the Seattle Seahawks. So that is possible. We're just relying on my guy Spencer Rattler potentially to get it done. There's a range of outcomes that could happen, though. Like the Giants getting all the way up to the number 1 pick. Or the Giants losing or winning and losing a top 5 pick and falling all the way to number 9. And with Saquon Barkley and the starters not playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, it's more likely the Giants win. And that is horrible news if you want the Giants to go out and get a franchise quarterback that they don't have to trade the farm for. Some games that we all should be watching for Week 18. Draft order. Remember, Patriots, Titans, Browns, Giants. I think we're going to end up with the fourth pick. I still think we're going to lose the game, but there is absolutely a shot now that you could win. The Bills, are they going to rest their starters against the Patriots? Possibly. Why that game is only Bills minus 2.5. So we got some life there. And the Titans, they are just +1 against the Houston Texans, so they could definitely win that game. Texans have nothing to play for. But the Browns are not going to beat the Baltimore Ravens as they are 17.5-point favorites. So make sure you are watching all of those games. Make sure you're watching the Giants game. And if you want the Giants to lose and you want the Giants to get to the top of the NFL draft, hit that thumbs up icon. We've been doing it all year long, and it's served us right so far, or until last week in that big culture win. Hit that thumbs up icon, though, if you want the Giants to get the number 1 pick in April's upcoming draft. Coming up next, we got to talk about the culture wins, because everyone's telling me on Twitter Marshall players don't tank, and it's for the culture, and you got to win games in meaningless spots to benefit your team next year. At least that's what they tell me. It doesn't make any sense. We'll talk about that in a second. First, though, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, Game Time. If you're looking for last-minute tickets and tickets that give you the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed, download the Game Time app. Prices drop as the events get closer. And Game Time, the reason I use them is because they guarantee the lowest price. The app is awesome, too, and it's super user-friendly. You get to see your seat view in the app. You get to access your tickets from your phone, and it's easy to resell your tickets if last minute you want to bail and not go to the game or the concert or the theater event, because it's more than just Giants games. Look, if they're selling tickets, you can get tickets on Game Time, and with only one game left and it on the road, I didn't even think it was worth to show it. I bet there's some Knicks fans watching, though, and you can go watch SGA pull up to Madison Square Garden and Isaiah Hartenstein return for a pretty decent price, especially if you use that all-in pricing feature and the Game Time Picks feature. That's going to guarantee you get the best seats for the lowest price guarantee. You can use Apple Pay within the app. That's super awesome. I love that. It's really easy to buy the tickets. It's the most user-friendly ticket app there is. So download the app, create an account, use that promo code ChatSports, and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. What time is it? Game time. All righty. How many times have the New York Giants won a meaningless football game at the end of the season that people want to say, that's a good win for the culture? Too many times to count. Well, you know what? I went back and looked at their starting record for the New York Giants dating all the way back to 2017. Because in theory, right, if you have culture wins at the end of the season, that should carry over. Well, you started 1-8 in 2017, and then 1-7 in 2018, then 2-11 in 2019, and then 1-7 in 2020, and then 1-5 in 2021, then 6-1 in 2022. I don't remember Jake Fromm winning any games that year at the end of the season. Weird that the Giants had a good start to that year. Wonder why. Then 2-8. How does the culture wins in the playoffs not carry over? And then this year, 2-13 after Tommy DeVito won 3 games. You know why? Because it's a week-to-week league. It's a game-to-game. It's a day-to-day league. Nothing that the Giants do this year will really, on the football field, in the win-loss column, will affect next year. You know what brings culture wins or culture to a football team? No, you establish culture. You win meaningful football games, like ones in September and October and December, when you're not already mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Those are culture wins. Those are things you can build your franchise on. And these Giants, man, they keep on getting these culture wins, and it keeps taking them out of a spot to add top-end talent to this team. That's what this team lacks. They lack a healthy roster, that's for damn sure, but they also lack top-end talent at premium positions. And the wins that they have picked up continuously at the end of the season have taken them out of striking distance to add those top prospects at those positions that are very, very important to winning. The win versus Indy was more than just losing the number 1 pick, though. Because everyone's like, Marshall, you could just trade back up, right, and go get that quarterback. Sure. But when you have the number 1 pick, you know more than likely who you're going to pick, especially if it's a quarterback, by the time the season and playoffs are over, which means you know who you're going to draft before you go into free agency, before the NFL Combine where the trade rumors start, before you make a decision on Brian Dable and Joe Shane. You can use that number 1 pick as a selling piece to a head coach to make you look more appealing because you are the worst run franchise right now in the National Football League. Also, it's not just round 1 you get the number 1 pick. You get the number 1 pick in round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, and round 7. And those round 2 and round 4 picks are so important with the number 1 spot. You know why? Because after day 1 of the NFL draft, round 1, everyone breaks. And there's always a prospect that falls to that spot that maybe the Giants could take. Or maybe it's a quarterback that falls and a team wants to trade up, and then you can reap the benefits of having the top pick in that round to trade down and recruit more assets. Or maybe you could do the same thing after day 2 when they leave after round 3 and they come back for round 4. You would have had very, very premium picks in important rounds that you could be using as trade chips because the Giants have so many holes on this roster that they need to fill with draft picks, which is why I have grown just irate by people saying, but Marshall, we can just trade up. If you really still want Cam Ward and you really still want Shedeur Sanders, you could trade up. No shit. If I still want the house that was worth $500,000 less last year, now it costs $1 million more, I could still buy that house, but I got to pay more, and I'm getting the same person in the same house. The Giants have so many holes on this football team, they need every draft pick that they have and own to be able to build at multiple positions instead of just pouring it all into trading up into the first round. And now, if you want to move up in the first round in the NFL draft this year to select your guy, you might have to trade the 2026 first rounder, or maybe the 2025 second round pick, or maybe the 2026 second round pick. Nothing good is going to come out of that Colts game. And it might even keep Joe Schoen and Brian Dable here. And we could debate later if that's a good thing. I guess we'll look ahead to the Eagles game because there is a game and it's the last one of the season. The injury report is here. Guys that did not participate in practice: Micah McFadden, John Michael Schmitz, Evan Neal, Armon Watts, who is done for the year. Players that were limited: Brian Burns, Corey Durden, Bryce Ford-Wheaton, Greg Stroman, Ty Summers, D. Williams. People that were full: Jake Kubis and Kayvon Thibodeau. Join us on Sunday here on the channel for the final watch party of the season. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff in store. We'll know by the end of Sunday where the Giants are going to be picking in the NFL draft. And by the end of that game, we may be about 24 hours away from finding out the future of Brian Dable and Joe Schoen with Black Monday right around the corner. So subscribe and make sure you are following me on social media because that's the first place you're going to hear about it. If the Giants make moves or don't make moves, when news breaks, I'll tweet about it. I'll post about it. So hit me up, give me a follow, and let's go Big Blue.